All right, you guys, here is the answer key and the solutions for the 4.1, 4.2 test that we will take coming up. I'm going to do 3 different videos, so if you need help with just a specific problem, that it'll be easier to find. So I'll do 1 through 10 in this video, and then 11 through 20 in the next, and then 21 through 30 in the third video. So feel free to use this at any convenience to you, and just get ready for the test. Okay. These questions can be found on Big Ideas, on our Big Ideas assignment, titled 4.1, 4.2 review. So, and it goes in the exact order. So number 1, the instructions say simplify the expression, write your answer using only positive exponents, and evaluate any numerical powers. Meaning, if you have like a number to a power, figure out what that is. Specifically, we're going to do that on this one. So we have this going on, and it's just part of our exponent rules. And basically, it tells us that this 4 needs to be distributed to everything. So we get 3 to the 4th power x to the 4th power over 2 to the 4th power. Okay? And that answer, although it's correct, it's not as nice as they would like it to be. So they want you to figure out what 3 to the 4th is, which some of you may know, but some of you may not. So we're going to figure out what that is by going 3 to the 4th power. That's 81. And then we leave the x to the 4th. And then on bottom, we need to find out what 2 to the 4th is. 2 to the 4th is 16. So that is the best answer, final answer. I can't reduce because there's no common factors on top and bottom. There's number 1. Number 2 says evaluate the expression without using a calculator. And basically, we have to remember this. This means the first power and the 5th root. So this is the same thing as the 5th root of negative 243. And it says without using a calculator. And I'm going to tell you, I'll be honest with you. I don't think we know our times tables well enough to do it without a calculator. But I want you to understand that this means this. Okay? And if you can show that and write that down, then when you grab your calculator and you put negative 243, and we're raising it to the 1/5. Remember, I have to put that in parentheses. I get negative 3, which basically that means negative 3 to the 5th power equals negative 243. Remember, exponents and roots, or powers and roots, they're opposites of each other. So, number 3, it says select the expression equivalent to 1 over the 4th root of 5. So, couple things. First thing you should notice is that this is on the bottom. Okay? And what that means is if it's on the bottom, we're going to have a negative. Okay? We're going to have a negative power. So, we have 5 to the negative something. Remember, the power goes on top and the root goes on bottom. So, the power, 5 to the 1st power, and we're taking the 4th root. The negative is in the exponent, not in the base. So that's the best answer. Do not get it confused with that one. And then I don't know where the 3 is even coming from. Okay. Number 4, number sense. It says between which 2 consecutive integers does the 4th root of 124 lie? Consecutive integers, that means counting numbers. Okay, or whole numbers. So in between what 2 whole numbers does this lie? And we go 4th root of 125. And you're like, oh, I don't know. But you do know this, that is the same thing as 125 raised to the 1/4. So I'm going to grab my calculator and go 125. And I'm going to raise it to the 1/4. And you get 3.34 something, right? 3437, okay? But it says what 2 counting numbers does it fall between? So this falls between 3 and 4 because 3.34 is in between those. Okay? Golden, golden. Okay, evaluate the expression without using a calculator. What they would like you to do here is understand that this is the same thing as negative 64 to the 1/3 to the 4th. So what times what is 64? And that is negative 4. And we raise that to the 4th. And we get negative 4. I gotta do it in parentheses. Negative 4 to the 4th is 256. So here's the thing. I know that you could type this into your calculator and go straight to here, okay? But I need to see work, especially if it says without using a calculator. That doesn't mean that you can't ever use it, but I want you to write down the thought process of how to get there, okay? So you might not know what the cube root of 64 is, but I want you to understand that this is the power and this is the root. So if you take the root first and then use the power, then you can get to the same way. So that's the work you need to show in order to get full credit for that problem. Okay? Number 6 is a vocab. It says rewrite the expression a to the negative s over t in radical form, then state the index. Index is the root size, okay? In radical form is this. First thing, the negative puts it on bottom. And we have a to the t root, because root's on bottom, of a to the s. Okay? Or some of it, yeah, that's correct. Or it might say, if you see this, t root of a to the s power. That's the same thing. Okay? And the index of the radical or the root size is t. Okay? Identify the real 6th root. So root is 6, or sometimes they'll say n equals 6 of negative 729. And this is on your notes. You had a chart. I believe it was on 4.1. The chart said if it's an even root or an odd root. So here's the thing. If it's an even root, you have 3 possible options. You have no real solution, 0 as a solution, or 2 real solutions. Okay? Here's how we know. And that's the chart on 4.1. I believe it's the first page of the notes part. This happens when it's negative. This happens when it's 0, and this happens when it's positive. So in this situation, this is negative. So the answer is no real roots. And you would know that by if you grabbed your calculator and said negative 729 and raised it to it's the 6th root, so you're raising it to the 1/6. Your calculator freaks out because there's no answer. Okay, see, non-real answer. What non-real answer means is that it would have I's in it, and we don't like that. So we're just going to avoid that. Okay, so if I were you, I would be really careful and check on that chart and use that chart. Okay, number 8, find the real solutions. If you see this sign, you should know that you have to use a calculator, and you're going to end up rounding. Okay, so it says find the real solution of the equation, round your answers to 2 decimal places. So if I'm solving, I'm getting x by itself, so I'm going to minus the 40, and I get x cubed equals negative 15. Okay? And then the way we undo powers is we do this same root size. So I'm going to take the cube root of both sides, and I get x equals the cube root of negative 15. And you're like, Miss Bustle, I don't know how to figure that out. Well, we do know that I can take negative 15 and raise it to the 1/3 and use my calculator. So I get, in parentheses, negative 15, and I'm going to raise it to the 1/3, and I get, negative 2.466. So it goes negative 2.466, but it says 2 decimal places. So I look at the third, and since it's higher than 5, I'm going to round up. So my answer is negative 2.47. Okay? All right. Same with this one. 9 is the same. Evaluate the expression using a calculator. Round to 2 decimal places. Okay, this I'm just plugging exactly into my calculator. 25 raised to the, and I believe it was negative 1/3. Negative sign, not the subtraction sign. 1/3. And I get 0.3419. So it goes 0.3419, and it says 2 decimal places. So I look at the third, which means it's not higher than 5. So I'm going to leave it at 0.34. Okay. And then last problem on this video, it says use the properties of rational exponents to simplify. Okay, this has a couple of rules, and there's basically 5 rules, and they're in your notes on 4.2 in a table. But just do your best in seeing, I always say, work outside in, okay, and simplify as much as you can. So this is going to go to both. That's the first rule, okay? When you have an exponent on the outside, you distribute it to everything on the inside. But when you distribute, it multiplies. So you have 8 to the 4 times negative 1/4 over 10 to the 4th times negative 1/4, which ends up being 8 to the negative 4 over 4, or 8 to the negative 1. On bottom, you get 10 to the negative 4 over 4, which is 10 to the negative 1. Well, what does the negative sign do? The negative sign changes its location. So this 8 that was on top is now going to be on bottom, and the 10 that was on bottom is now going to be on top. And you're like, done, I don't have any exponents, except for none of my answers match because I need to simplify. We're going to simplify by this. 10 is 2 times 5. 8 is 2 times 4. My 2's can cancel out because they're a common factor, and I get 5 over 4, okay? Golden, there's 1 through 10. Make sure you understand those before you move on to 11 through 20, but 11 through 20 will be in the next video.